Okay then people, we're back in, and for those of you that can notice, this isn't Extinction anymore. We're actually back on the island, and past being on the island, we're actually back on Primitive Plus as well, which is the new server settings. I know we didn't finish Extinction, and to be honest, part of me is bugged that I didn't finish it, as I finished most of the maps, apart from this one. But I couldn't get on with it. It was laggy as hell, and my internet at the time was ridiculously low, which didn't help. And as it is, this first bit's recorded when I needed my internet upgraded still. So this was a while ago. And on that note, I do apologise it's been so long for a video. But Extinction really killed my motivation for Ark and pretty much doing most videos. And on top of that, the internet was so low, I think I was running less than 15 megabytes. And yeah, it was pretty much impossible playing a multiplayer game. I think part of the lag for those dinosaurs was down to that. But same time, I know it wasn't just me that had that. And after that, I actually had one stage when I went on and I got booted off the server about 5 to 6 times, maybe in half an hour. And it was a nightmare. I was literally the only one on, I think, at the time anyway, and yet it still just kept booting me. So I really ran out of patience with Extinction. I'll give it another go at some point. At this time, they have just brought out an update which has done a lot of things for it. Sadly, as well, to point out, at this time they need to do some more TLC for Primitive Plus, as during all these Extinction updates, for some reason they've wiped off the loot drops. Or the loot drops off of Primitive, which sucks to try and get anything graded. I mean, even if you get your stuff out of the alphas, you're not going to actually get Primitive Plus gear off the alphas. Which, for instance, like now, you can get the pitchforks, which they're not that much different. They work like a spear. I think they're maybe a bit more hardy. I enjoy them. They look a bit more interesting. But yes. So we're going to jump on. And next bit to point out here as well, whilst we're on Primitive Plus, is you actually get limestone, iron and carbon out of metal rocks. I think you still get stone out of them as well. Sadly, this raptor pretty much stopped me from finding out as it tried to eat me. But I managed to just about get away from it. You forget these things when you say used to flying around everywhere or being on top of a big mount. I just about managed to survive that. Of course, with the broken bones, I'm not exactly going very fast. So, yeah. We all know what's going to happen, don't we? But no. If you look through, I mean, there's a lot of different bits on Primitive Plus to the normal one. And if they can actually fix it just to working properly again, it'd be fantastic. I mean, the seeds. There's so many different seeds you get. And here we go. This is my demise right now. Yeah. There we go. Another raptor. I mean, there's coffee, wheat, soy. I'm not going to sit here and go through all of them. There's so many things. There's so many different bits you can make. I mean, obviously this is just a normal thatch bit, but for instance now, even the storage boxes have been changed over to something else, which looks like these here shelves. And you know, it's just simple things, but it adds something to the game. It looks nicer as well, especially when you get in later and you start building brick things or lumber glass walls and all this sort of stuff. You know, you really do get a nice selection of bits on here. Of course, some stuff like the mortar and pestle and that still looks the same, but there you go. Anyway, enough praising of Primitive Plus and pointing out the differences. What am I doing where it's been so long? Well, I'm trying to get the motivation back to do videos again, and whilst I'm sure a few of you won't be too upset that I'm not doing many, because let's face it, some of my videos can drag on. I want to find something I enjoy. If you can find content you enjoy to make, then if you're enjoying it, it's more enjoyable for others to watch. If you're just going to sit there going, oh, great, so we got some rock, yeah, no, there's a pterodon, yeah, yeah, then, you know, unsurprisingly, no one really wants to watch that, and I can't really blame them. I mean, I don't like watching that back. A quick one to point out here, here's the lumber bits, but we'll show you those later. And just quickly, whilst I'm interrupting myself anyway, as you can hear, Pterodon was getting attacked, and of course it's Asarco in the dark. Which, never mind it being a Asarco with our basic tools, it's a 145 Sarco. Now on this server, to be fair, it is actually set at the standard 150 is the max as well. It's not going up higher, like I think the last one we had 180 was max or something like that. But yeah. Now here of course is another fantastic problem, which I'm not sure if it was down to my internet at the time, I'm not sure if it was down to the settings at the time. I think it may have been the settings, because it turned out if you tried to adjust the gamma, then pop, it kicked you off. So we went back on, we had to join the server again and get back, and unsurprisingly we were eating in that time, so I'm going to go back down to there. But yes, I was really looking forward to Primitive Plus until I got onto it. This time it's actually let me do the gamma, whether that's just because I just logged in, I don't know. But anyone who's playing Primitive Plus servers at the moment knows the hardships of it. One thing I have been told is apparently even the artifacts in the caves aren't actually spawning at the moment. Which, if so, that really sucks, because, you know, how can you play the game if you can't even get the artifacts? I mean, obviously being admin we can spawn them in, and where this is one of Jay Plays Games servers, then he has actually let most people have admin commands for it, as long as they don't abuse it. But you know, you shouldn't have to do that. So, I mean, if the artifacts are missing, we might go down and put boxes around, but realistically not many people are playing Ark anymore. And I'm finding that myself, you know, it's great going back and going for a different change, but realistically doing the same map again, I mean, I don't know how many times I've played different versions on the island, and how many times I've been around this exact same beach, built on this beach, built things near this beach, etc, etc. You know, it's starting to get old. And I won't lie, I have actually sold my soul and got a PC now, so I am getting on Atlas and such, although at the moment I'm still not getting much chance, where I've had my move and it's later times with the kids and everything. But also apart from that, I'm still trying to figure out the how to record on PC and everything, so you know, don't expect that we're all of a sudden going to dump the PlayStation 4. And more importantly, even when I get into the PC, I won't be dumping the PlayStation. I find the PlayStation's a lot easier to play the games on, and more importantly, it's something I've enjoyed a long time, and it's something that I want to keep covering. I mean, you know, obviously there's hundreds of people that cover PlayStation, there's hundreds of people that cover PC, but I like the PlayStation. I like how easy it is to use the SHAREfactory to edit things, and I like the selection of friends that I've got on there. At the same time, I will say, one thing that I'm going to miss playing on a PC is, of course, the PlayStation controller. I can just plug the headset straight into the bottom of that, sit halfway across the room and play. With the PC, even if I get a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse and sit across the room with that, then going and getting a wireless headset and everything, it's, you know, it's all a pain. Whereas the PlayStation comes with the wireless bits. And just to jump in quickly, of course, we finally got the Asarco on the run, or so it seemed. So what's the best way to knock it out? Of course we're going to punch it to unconsciousness. But anyway, what am I going to do on the channel? Well, I am going to start trying to branch out and do a few more games, maybe try and get groups of people in to do a few bits, like the Forest, Switchblade. I've got to admit, looks like it could be interesting for a couple of games for people. There is talk at the moment of a Titanfall Battle Royale free-to-play game as well, which I'm quite looking forward to. And things like that. Am I going to completely dump Ark? I did consider it, I won't lie. But I think we're going to go on to a slight side note with Ark and go through things like will it work, and try all the weird and wonderful things, like the frogs that we did on Aberration for Rockwell. Didn't really think that'd work, but it did. So how many more weird and wonderful crazy ideas are there like that can work? One thing we're aiming for at the moment as well actually is to set up a race on this server to do some manta racing from one side of the island all the way over to the other, actually going along the rivers and seeing if people can last and not ground themselves and such. So yeah, Ark's suffering, but we're going to try and keep a bit of it there, because hopefully one day we might actually get a bit more for it. You never know. I mean, that'd be fantastic. Past that, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to try and keep up with the reviewing the games each month. Not just for all of you, but for myself as well. I find if we're going to get them free each month, then why not try them out? And whilst you might not be interested in my opinion of it, some people might be. Some people might not have heard of any of the games and so might not want to download them at all. Unless I've said something about them, or unless someone else has. So, it's worth a go. Now, a quick thing to point out on here is, of course, along with the normal meat, we actually get chicken meat off of, amusingly, chicken meat off of dodos. So, yeah, there you go. But it's another choice. Apparently, it used to be pretty much better than Prime meat, but of course, they soon fix that. Anyway, what else will I be doing on this server? I want to try and do some builds as well. A couple just nice builds and nice areas. Once this S Plus comes out onto the console, then I'll probably take full advantage of that to get some nice shapes and such. But I mean, until then, we're not that bad, and especially if you look at this. Although the game's pretty much the same, the building items, the building parts that you can get are different. Like these walls, although they're not actually clipped together although they're not clipped together for these stone walls, they are still there, and they look different. So I think we're going to try and find a few unique places on a few maps and do some builds. One thing I'm considering as well is actually trying to do some of the builds from films and such. For instance, like the Wood Elves treehouse, I guess you could say, out of Lord of the Rings. Perhaps do Helm's Deep, that sort of thing. And, you know, go on for a couple of bits. Go on for some more aesthetic looking bits rather than practical, let's say. But yeah, past that, it may still be a while before I'm actually constantly putting out videos again. I've still got to get myself back into a routine, and having moved as well, of course, then I've got to get myself into a routine with everything else, and sadly, gaming comes last, as that's a luxury for me. Whilst I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy doing the videos for the rest of you, especially those with actually a bit of comedy to it, it's not essential. And, you know, there's a lot of things above that list, sadly. But anyway, looking at this map now, as I'd said, I think what we're going to try and do is go from roughly here, go around the redwoods, and try and see who can finish at Carno Island first. But of course, rather than just doing it like that, we're actually going to do it on manta rays. Another idea is to go through the river in the snow area there. I can't remember which way round, but I think one way round at least we can go, so we just go down the waterfalls rather than up them. We'll have to find out. But yeah, we'll have a think on it. And to wrap up, we're going to have a look at the extras on the last update. Now, one here is a bamboo grenade, which we don't have in the game, so maybe new content, maybe some weird name for new things. Another one here is the Brachiosaurus and the burlap shirt, and I believe that's maybe the cloth shirt, and the Brachiosaurus was the skin, perhaps, from the archaeology event. So, Now here, of course, we have the Chupacabra, which I think is another name for the nameless, sadly, but it would be interesting if we got something new in. However, there is already a spawn command for it. Next one here is the Dragonfly, and as well, if you look a couple up, there's actually the Dolphin Saddle there. Dragonfly, I'm guessing, is a moth, but the Dolphin Saddle is interesting, because later on they call it an Ichthyornis. Forged Raft. Now, I'm guessing that's the metal one, but if we got a new raft, that would be kind of cool as well. Maybe some spin-off from Atlas. Another one here is we have the Ichthyornis, as I said, and the Homodeus chest, if I pronounce that right, but the Homodeus is actually the extinction skins you get. Net gun. Now this is one that I saw and I really got excited about. A net gun would be fantastic, but that could be their name for the admin gun, so we shall see. A Pterosusis. I thought they meant the squid, but it does actually mention the squid's name later, so maybe something new, or maybe a new skin. Skull Torch. Another new one that I saw in there. Now, I believe that might just be a skin. Perhaps it was one on Scorched Earth for a skin for the torch. We'll see. The Strachiosaurus, I'm quite sure as well, was the skin out of the archaeology. So maybe this is things like I knew the Brachiosaurus cell didn't sit very well, so perhaps it's cleaning that up. Tripwire flare, we definitely don't have that. We have the siren, we have the explosive IED one. Flare, that could be quite interesting. It's nothing fancy, but something new. And a zipline harness, I'm guessing that's literally just going to be an aesthetic thing because we already have the zip lines, and what other benefit would the harness have? But, you know, this is Ark, so of course there are also a couple of mistakes. Now this is PlayStation 4, so pressing N for crosshairs and key binding, not to mention the spelling mistake, are going to be a bit confusing. And of course to create a Rorist, well, apparently Scooby-Doo doesn't now, so Scooby-Doo would say, Rateagage, Scooby-Booby-Boo! And so we're going to wrap up there, people. I hope you've enjoyed hearing what's actually happening. I hope it's given you a bit more faith that I will actually be trying to get some more content out, a bit more variety. As I'm recording this, it is actually the beginning of February, so the new games are out, so I will be doing a quick video on reviewing those. And past that, hopefully we'll be getting back into Primitive Plus a bit, even though it's a little bit broken now. But it looks nice, so hopefully we can at least get some good builds out of it, and maybe a couple of events. So at that point, I'll leave you all be, and so take care, and see you next time. Bye bye, people.